right, guys, welcome back. I'm sure everyone's heard the news today that we re-signed Doug Kramer, fullback Doug Kramer, right? Those who don't know, we also signed a fullback in the same position earlier this year. I'll get to that. Jordan McFadden from the Chargers last year. He took snaps in the same type of way that Doug Kramer did. So we got two options of these big boys that can plow through and give us that goal line stance, right? Or maybe fumble the ball. We'll see what happens. See if they give him enough reps to get used to it. But this isn't just about Doug Kramer. We're going to go over just the update of the day, give you guys, I try to get something out every day to give you an update of where things stand with the Bears. So I'm going to call this one filling out the 90-man roster because that's all this is with Doug Kramer. All this is the camp body, 90-man spot. We're used to him. We have him in Hallis Hall already. He's from Illinois. You know that Ryan Poles likes the local guys. So we re-signed Doug Kramer to a one-year deal. We don't even know the contract details of it yet, but we do know he's re-signed. So welcome back, Doug Kramer, to a one-year deal. You can see here on the right. Let's pull this over. These contracts are not fully disclosed yet. It's annoying the living crap out of me. Guys, I even mentioned something on Twitter. Why is it taking so freaking long to get Jonah Jackson's extension? We know he's extended through 2027 now. Why don't we have his extension? Travis Homer, we know, is a 2-year deal. A 1-year deal for $2 million. Olamide Zaccheaus, it's not disclosed how much it is either. I'm guessing around $2 million, somewhere in that range, maybe $2.5, maybe $3 million. We don't know. Durham Smythe was rumored to be at $2 million, and Steven Carlson rumored to be right around a league minimum contract. Camp body. This Olamide would be a wide receiver 4-ish type of player. So I don't see him as a camp body. Travis Homer, special teams player. Durham Smythe, tight end 3, and Jonah Jackson, starter. So this brings our 90-man count to 65. You can see they don't have Doug Kramer listed here on Spotrac and on my own little spreadsheets that I do. I'm at 64 before Doug Kramer as well. And so adding Doug Kramer takes us to 65. Other news in the league today. Those who didn't see, Mecole Hardman has signed with the rivals, with the puke face Packers. So Mecole Hardman, speedster, he's going to go with the Packers. Doesn't matter how fast you are if your quarterback can't throw accurately, so I'm not too worried about this one. They do get Mecole Hardman on a 1-year prove-it deal. That leads me to think the Bears are pivoting and focused on Rondale Moore. Hopefully his medicals come back okay, but the other news of the day, the Jets have had free agent wide receiver Rondale Moore in for a visit today. So now the Jets are teasing us. They're going to pair up possibly Justin Fields, our old friend, with Rondale Moore if we don't beat him to the punch. So we want to see Rondale Moore in a Bears jersey, right? I do. I hope you guys do. It's one of my biggest desires from this offseason wish list. So I hope the Bears find a way to get that done and make it happen. So here is where the offensive line stands. I'm not going to go through each point, each section or I don't know why my brain is spacing here. Each positional chart, but that's the offensive line. You can see we have the starters lined up. We have some backups. Doug Kramer's just a depth piece. Ricky Stromberg, same. Chris Glazer, Joshua Mills, Jordan McFadden, who I said was used as a fullback a little bit last year as well, and Theo Benedict, who was last year's Canadian Eagle there to develop as well. So we'll see if one of these guys can sneak in and develop as a depth piece here to make the 53-man roster. But as of now, these guys are the ones going to camp. And that leaves us with 14 so far on the 90-man roster for the offensive line position. Last year, we took 16 into the 90-man camp. So are we going to draft 3, or is Doug Kramer really going to compete with Ricky Stromberg for the backup behind Drew Dahlman because we already signed him to a 4-year deal? So that's kind of our starter. Ryan Bates can fill in there too. So maybe we don't need a center. Maybe they see one of these guys like Ricky Stromberg as a potential piece there. Bill Murray coming up, and then we only draft 2 offensive linemen. We'll see what happens. I always like having more and more depth. I like when the Bears bring in depth to compete, but we'll see how the Bears feel about it as we get into the draft. We have 7 draft picks, as you guys know. So those who haven't seen, these are the ones that have signed elsewhere that were former Bears last year. So we did a little bit of this. We're giving a more update today as Jake Curhan and Byron Cowart have gone to the Cardinals and the Jets as well. So Coleman Shelton with the Rams, Khalil Herbert with the Colts, Jack Sanborn with the Cowboys, Larry Borum with the Dolphins, Darrell Taylor with the Texans, Darrington Evans with the Bills, who spent more time with the Bills than the Bears, and Byron Cowart with the Jets, and Jake Curhan with the Cardinals. So here's the schedule where we stand right now. Combine is over with, and now past the combine is top 30 visits. They usually start around the end of March, early April. You hear of a lot of them announced after the second when pro days are kind of getting over with. Right now there's a lot of pro days going on. If you haven't heard about Tet McMillan from Arizona running a 4.48 with his size and his jumping ability, he was kind of the highlight of the Big 12 Pro Day so far. It's a 3-day event for them. Annual league meetings at the end of the month, and then that's when the top 30 visits will really get underway after that. But as I like to do, I know this is really little. I apologize for those who are looking on their phones. If you're on your screen, just pause this because there's a lot of information to take in here. But this is the Big 12 Pro Day, so the entire conference gets together. I went down to this last year. I saw Austin Booker in the Big 12 Pro Day. It was a lot of fun. Held in Texas in past Arlington. I was going to the games in Arlington for the Cubs season opener, and I ran down and watched it for a day. So it was a lot of fun. But a lot of teams. See from Arizona, Tech McMillan, Jonas Savania, their running back, who's a late, a third day prospect. And I know these are kind of hard to follow with how many there are. Arizona State, Cam Scadaboo, BYU edge Tyler Batty, Cincinnati, Luke Kandra, who I like a lot. I think he's very overlooked. John Williams is a really good offensive tackle option later. Colorado has Travis Hunter, Shadur Sanders, and Jimmy Horn. These are ones that I've kind of singled out the Bears could take a look at. Not necessarily that they would single in on, but they could take a look at. Iowa State over here with Jaden Higgins, Darian Porter, and Jalen Noel. You've got Kansas with Devin Neal, Kobe Bryant, Mello Dotson, and Logan Brown. I like Logan Brown a lot as a late-round prospect as well. Kansas State with DJ Giddens and Jacob Parrish. Texas Tech, Jalen Conyers, I like a lot for a later round tight end. I think we'll take one a lot higher than that, though. And Tosh Brooks is kind of an overlooked running back as well. You've got at UCF, R.J. Harvey, Kobe Hudson, and McWilliams. You've got at TCU, Jack Beck, Savion Williams. At West Virginia, Wyatt Milam, who a lot of you know is one of my more favored depth pieces to take. He could, swing out tackle, play guard, as well as safety Aubrey Burks. And then last but not least, you have Utah with Junior Tafuna, defensive interior, their linebacker, Kareem Reed, and then tight end Brent Kuithe, he was really highly rated coming into this year, a lot like Iowa's tight end as well. So they both kind of fell down the boards and kind of fell off the top prospects, but still some good stuff you can develop there. So there's a lot of prospects the Bears will be looking at. They do have people out here representing. Obviously, people still in House Hall getting things done with players like Doug Kramer, who I'm honestly happy we brought back. I mean, he's a decent depth piece. I like having competition, compete with Ricky Stromberg for that backup center position, and even Ryan Bates. It seems more and more likely we're not cutting Ryan Bates at this point. But there's your updated roster count. 65 now is where we're at. Updates to the Bears today, kind of what's going on, just to give you a quick condensed little update for those of you who like this type of thing. And if you haven't seen my latest mock draft, man, it's a controversial one. Man, don't say anything bad about Ashton Genty. Don't say anything bad about the running back class. Do not mention anything because this fan base has already fallen in love with that kid. So hopefully we draft him so we don't have a complete meltdown. But I promise I won't have a meltdown if we do. I just think there's a better option for taking in the first round than taking a running back when this class is low. But you guys already know how I feel. So highlighted this one, re-signed Doug Kramer, and the updates where the Bears are at for pro days and what's going on around the league. So with that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. If you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Till next time, da Bears, and bear down.